I feel like every gay guy is money motivated, ambitious. You very rarely find a bum gay guy.
Why?
I'm drawn to an underdog, and I know that's what got me in the house.
How did you actually feel when you had the realisation?
Straight away I was thinking, well, that's not the show that I thought it was on. TikTok and Twitter was like, oh my god, Louie looks fuming. And I was fuming. Like, and it's true. Do you know what? You was right, I was fuming.
Fortune Hotel is out right now.
I am telling you now, when we landed on that island, I felt like I was James Bond. The camera crew was in your face non-stop. It was all so structured. It was like, you stand here, you do this. And I was going to Chloe, I don't like this. There were so many times where I was like, let's just go home.
Careful what you wish for. 10 minutes later, we went.
I feel like dating apps now, like it's 2024, where else do you meet people? I don't go out a lot, obviously I've got a business, so where do you meet people? Dating apps is the only other alternative, and they're just awful.
With business, how have you found business? Because a lot of people start a business, but they don't stick with it.
Business is so hard. I feel like it's so glamorized, and on Instagram it's like, oh my god, but nobody sees the hard work, the sleepless nights. There's days where I think, oh, do I want to do this? Okay, I've always been really positive and stuff like that, but I literally used to be huge, really overweight. So there's been times where I've been like really insecure, or even now I feel like you do get insecure. Yeah.
And you still feel that now?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Success School podcast. I just want to say thank you so much for being here and taking time to listen to the show today. And I also just want to make sure you are aware that my whole mission with this podcast is to be able to give people access to conversations that are going to enlighten, they're going to inspire, and they're going to give you the information needed to genuinely start to live a happier, a healthier, and a more fulfilling life. But here's the thing, I am just one man. So that's really, really hard to get a lot of people to be positively impacted when I'm doing this alone. So I'm just going to ask a little favor. And I know you're probably sick of hearing this. You probably hear it on every podcast you listen to. But please, if you genuinely do think this podcast is valuable and can help people, if you could just take a second to hit that subscribe button and maybe go on further, tell other people about it, share it on your Insta stories, anything you can do to help bring more awareness to the show would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for being here, and I really hope you enjoy this episode.
To leave the room if you was birthday.
Really?
Really.
I feel like I've got one coming.
No,
What is this? What is an actual fear?
So, yeah, it is a bit of a fear, yeah.
And what are you scared of? The smell, or?
No, I just don't think it makes sense for it to come out your mouth. That's something I'd rather someone fat, because it makes sense in like, but out your mouth, it's like, no, that don't make sense to me. Don't you think?
No, because everybody
Why is
burps.
that leaving your mouth? I don't get
Do
that.
you
I
burp?
don't burp.
Ever?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And if I do, I don't go glut, like.
Okay, it's just
ever.
a little...
No, I don't think I actually burp.
Okay. I mean, I just always known every human ever to... Well, is that all right? Can we hiccup?
Yeah, because a hiccup's like a... Oh,
Yeah.
whereas a burp's like a...
I
know what I'm trying to say, but I can't verbalise it.
Well, I've got to be honest, I've never met anybody who has a fear of burps, so I feel honoured to meet you.
I was just about to say you have. You met me.
Yeah, I have now. Well, I have now, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Some people are like with farts, though, aren't they? But I don't get that because it's like everybody does fart.
No, but surely it's 50-50. Everybody burps and farts.
Do you burp? A lot?
Odd times, no, I don't do it often.
I drink Monsters.
That's what it
gym.
is. It's, if you drink fizzy drinks, I only drink water or coffee, to be honest, so I don't
do you?
burp.
Okay, that's why then. It is a fizzy drink thing.
My poo's pink. No, I'm only joking.
It's not. I can imagine it actually isn't.
No, honestly, like, yeah, I'm a bit of a germaphobe.
Okay.
That's
Well, I would say I'm quite a clean person, and I hate when people have bad breath. You know, and when people consistently have bad breath, I'm like, what are you fucking doing? Are you just not brushing your teeth?
I never really get that close enough to someone to know they've got bad breath.
Okay.
But
But sometimes you don't have to get that close. And also BO, when people consistently have BO.
BO's bad.
I don't get why you would consistently have BO. That's a
Because I'm
self-awareness
really big on
problem.
fragrances. I love like smells.
Same. Actually, what have you got on? You've got something like, is it, don't tell me. It's one of the posh ones, isn't it?
I have Amber Rose Udon.
Oh, I don't know actually. Is it posh? It smells nice anyway.
Yeah, it's alright.
I'm a
nice.
Tom Ford. I like Tom Ford.
Oh,
It's a little
Tom-
bit different.
I have them all.
Do you do them all? What's your favourite?
Ombre leather.
Mine at the moment too.
Yeah.
I didn't used to like it. I used to like, why would I want to fucking smell like a leather boot?
Oh no, it's
But
so
now
it's like
I get
wood,
it.
It's
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
And oud wood as well. Stunning.
It's my other favourite.
Yeah. Just like
I call it oud wood. Is it oud wood?
old wood.
Oud.
It's oud.
Is it oud or oud?
Oud.
I'd say it's oud. I've heard the word oud more.
Oud means like it's oil
Okay.
based. Like yeah.
Right, well,
What did you say?
already oud. Oud. But I am from Yorkshire, like, oh.
That's
Oud
not
wood.
good. That's like older, like older.
Yeah, okay. So it's
body odour.
oud wood, stuff like that. But yeah, oud wood.
Every day's a school day. It's like you're learning
yeah,
lots today.
that's why it's called Success School.
Oh.
This is what we're here to do.
Yeah, but it seems like you're at my school.
What about Black Orchid? That was my other favourite
Oh
back in
yeah,
the
I
day.
do love that one. That's the black and
Yeah.
gold one, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
But it's
love
a bit
that one. Have you
cheaper,
had
that
the
one as
purple
well.
one?
No. Is
It's
that
a
the
unisex
fucking
one,
fabulous
but
or
it's
something? Or is that the green one?
gorgeous.
Okay, purple. I'll
Get
check
the
that
purple
out.
one next time.
Anyway, let's talk a bit more about... I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should just talk about this. I think it makes for a good podcast.
Body odor, breath, burps, everything else.
Farts.
Yeah.
Done. That's all we needed for today. What a pod.
Wrap up. We're done.
Louis, thank you for being here.
No, thanks for having me.
What? Obviously, a lot of people, because obviously you've just done a reality show, had a break, gone into another reality show. In the middle, I was doing a reality show. I think obviously there's a lot of reality
We've just
shows
been like
right now.
passing. What's that thing called? Passing
the baton.
Yeah.
Or baton.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been doing a tag team of reality shows. I think a
Literally.
lot of people are like, oh, I'd love to do reality, or I'm intrigued by it. So I think that's a good place to start, is like, what has it been like for you, like being in this world for the first time? And right now, you know, the second show has just aired. How are you finding the whole experience?
I feel like reality TV, going on reality TV, the expectation of going on reality TV is like, oh my God, it's going to change my life. It's going to be amazing. And then actually going on reality TV, it's like something you can't describe to people. I feel like you...
Try. Otherwise, it'll be a shit answer.
No, but I feel like talking to you because you understand it and you get it.
Yeah.
But if I was just explaining reality TV to other people, is how would you describe it? Obviously, you've done reality TV
It's
as well.
a really good point, because I had a friend who's also done a reality TV show, and she's done dating shows as well. And we were speaking to another guy, and he was like, "Oh, I'd love to do Big Brother," and we were both like, "You wouldn't."
Yeah.
You wouldn't. And we said the same thing. I don't know how to explain it, but you might think you know what to expect.
Yeah.
But you don't.
100%. So I feel like you're going with the preconception of how you think it's gonna pan out and stuff
Right.
like that, and you couldn't be further from the truth. So I've got a friend now who's so desperate to get on Big Brother, and he keeps saying to me like, "Oh my God, it's gonna change my life," and I'm just like,
Maybe it's the same friend, because that's what he was saying.
and I'm like, honestly, it's not.
So what's been the good side? What's been the stuff you've loved about this opportunity, and obviously doing two shows quite close to each other? What would you say has been the highlights?
Like the actual experience of being on them both. So
Okay.
not so much the aftermath of being on them, but actually when I was there, being in the moment, the present. Like when I was in Josh Must Win, actually being in the house, meeting the new people, the experience was amazing. And then Fortune Hotel, obviously being flown out to the Caribbean. I mean, this gorgeous resort. It's the actual experience when you're there. It's not so much the aftermath of like being on air when it's on TV. Yeah, kind of the experience when you're actually in the moment.
So then when it's been on TV, what's that been like? Like, what's the truth of how you felt? Has it been disappointing? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
It's been so disappointing.
Really?
Because I feel like, obviously, I filmed Josh Must Win last March. It was meant to air in August and it didn't come out until March. We
It's
waited.
exactly the same as us.
Yeah.
Oh no, we was April, but they told us August.
Did yours get pushed back?
Kept getting pushed back, yeah.
Honestly.
So this is another thing people don't know, right?
Yeah. It is so annoying. It's like you're chasing the thing. It's like, oh my God, it's coming out now. And my whole life has been on pause for a year because I've been waiting for that. So like I was bringing out a skincare brand and I was like, it makes sense to wait until the show airs because I was
Right.
expecting this huge like platform.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So everything's been pushed back in my life waiting for that moment. So I've waited a year. It's come out and then it's like, oh shit, actually. It's like letting a balloon off.
Yeah.
It's like letting a balloon off and being like, wow, I thought it was going to change my life and nothing's changed.
Why do you think that is?
More so from the channels. I feel like they pump so much money into like the locations, the sets, the teams, all stuff like that. Yeah. And then when it comes to the actual cast, there's not much for the cast at all. As in like the content you get afterwards, they don't push you. With TV, I feel like they cast you for their storyline. So they use you and then they don't give you much back at all.
Yeah. And I feel like I've had a similar experience. And I think it's just the way it's gone. I think TV, obviously, less people are watching telly now as well, compared to, say, 15, 20 years ago. And there's more companies competing. Like, there's more TV channels, there's more reality shows. And also, it is a business. And I think it's getting harder and harder for TV. And also, people's attention span's shorter. So they have to put loads of episodes out quickly. And there's a quick turnaround, next show, next cast. So I think that is a really like insightful look into the reality of it. Is I think people think you get on TV, you're going to be this massive star. And I actually said to some of my cast, because some of them were like, same as what you're saying, like putting the life on hold, like when this show comes out, and I just feel I'm waiting. And then and I actually said to them, you know, best part of a year ago, don't look at it like that. Like, see it as if something big comes, that's a bonus. But in the meantime, like, make some good shit happen anyway, so you're not relying on TV. Did you feel that, like, you need to have your own thing?
So I kind of live my life like that anyway, as in, like, I don't chase, I attract. Whatever's meant to be will be, that kind of vibe. But then when you are in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I've just filmed on 2 shows. Like, obviously one's E4, one's ITV one. You don't really get much bigger than ITV one. So I was like, this is going to change my life. There's going to be this huge audience afterwards. When do you ever have someone going on 2 shows in that's like such a short space of time? Yeah. And I was like, people can go on 1 show. It can take 1 episode for someone to blow up. I was like, in Josh, obviously I was on the final. Then I'm on a big channel. And just nothing's changed at all. And I remember ringing my friend who was also on the Fortune Hotel, and we was both like, so when does life change then? Because
still waiting.
Nothing's happened. Yeah. So yeah, and it's the anticipation. Like, imagine waiting a year thinking your life's gonna change. Yeah. It's like knowing you've won the lottery a year before.
Yeah.
And then
and then you just don't get the money.
Through,
Give you a fiver.
And it all falling through and being like, wow, because I had so many plans in my head of like what I was gonna do and all stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite disappointing.
I think it's good that you're being honest about this, and obviously this is a really honest chat about the reality of it, because people can put TV shows on a pedestal, and you know, even just, I spoke to the other day Craig, who was the first winner of Big Brother, and he said people say that phrase, fame and fortune, and he said they don't always go hand in hand. He said, I know a lot of famous people who are skint.
Same.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like this thing of like breaking down that perception people have, but also in like a positive way. It's kind of like saying you don't need fame or TV shows or whatever to still do something great. I think the good thing about having social media and TikTok and all these things now is anybody can still, if you're passionate and you're focused and you're going to work hard, anybody can still break through now, right? Like, I think like back in the day, music artists needed a manager to be able to have a music career, but now 100%. We know of TikTokers, right, that have done, and now they have the managers coming to them going, please, can I represent you? So I think like for anybody listening, as much as we might have had a bit of a shit show and be like, it's not what we hoped, the positive is you don't need to get cast in something. You don't need that casting producer to say, you're good enough for us, to actually be able to progress. And I think for people like you and I, it could be a stepping stone, but we can still use the power of podcasting, social media to do stuff ourselves, right?
But I think it is like the whole TikTok genre and stuff like that has diluted TV.
I agree.
As in, like, anybody now can be an influencer. It's like the Fortune Hotel, it literally was meant to be this huge show. And on the very first night, it got 1.5 million views. But it's like, people get that on TikTok. Like, I've had a video on TikTok that's got way more than that for dancing in the street to the police. It's like, you can just do the most stupidest stuff and a video blow up. So you just can't compare to TV now, and nobody is like, remember Saturday Night TV where like years ago people would sit around with the family and watch like X Factor. Like that's when TV was at its thing. You could go on X Factor and be huge. Yeah. And now, like, look at Britain's Got Talent. You never hear of anyone that comes off it. The Voice, you don't know one person that's ever come off it. Yeah. Last year's Big Brother. Like, Big Brother is a legendary, iconic show. There's not one person that went in that house last year that is doing one thing. Yeah.
And I think that the main thing that people have to be aware of is it's about evolving with the times. TV was the thing. Might not be so much now, but there is still always opportunity. If you want to grow a brand, if you want to get yourself out there and get known, you can do it, but you have to be aware of what's working. And I think now more than ever, times just move so quickly, don't they, with social media and the speed of it. So take us back to Josh Must Win. Yeah. I loved that show. I absolutely bloody loved it. I loved the idea of, It was just a very, I don't know, we've got these, I think, shows like Love Island that put a certain image on a pedestal, and also Instagram. We've all seen it on Instagram, people who are the sort of typical attractive look get the likes and get the followers. So I liked that part of the concept of just taking a normal guy and actually manipulating the environment and the situations to say, do you know what, if you get to not judge someone by their cover and see them, like their whole, I guess, every aspect of them, you start to see, actually, you don't need to be, I don't know, abs or big tits or whatever it is. What I really liked is the relationship you built with Josh, who's known as the Underdog. From what I saw on the edit, you was like one of the first people to actually really accept him and sort of build that friendship. Yeah. Why do you think that was? Like, why were you the person that did that?
So, do you know what? It's so weird because when I was obviously being casted for Josh Must Win, I think the whole reason I got into the house was because in my application video, obviously we had no clue the show was called The Underdog. Yeah. We had no clue the whole concept of the show and
what
stuff
were you
like that.
What was it called again for you?
The Favourite.
The Favourite, that's it. Yeah.
So we thought it was called The Favourite, and we was told it was basically like a remake of Big Brother. It's going to be 10 contestants living in a house together. The voting system's like Big Brother. There's going to be eliminations. You're going to have to vote. All that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, it's literally going to be like Big Brother. So I was like, amazing.
But you knew it wasn't going live, did you?
Yeah.
So what did you think? There was just a small audience?
So we got told there was a small panel of independent people that will decide who goes. Once we put the people up for elimination. Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, that's obviously just going to be the producers. Like whoever they want, whoever they want to go. He's manipulating not making great TV. I was like, that's just going to be the producers. But in my head, I was like, oh, I can win them over anyway. Yeah. So I was like, I'll be fine. Well, yeah. In my application, I actually said I'm drawn to an underdog, and I am anywhere I go. I always seem to be drawn to the underdog. And I know that's what got me in the house because there was a part where they had to come to your house and interview a friend. And my friend said, Louie is one of those people, you'd expect him, like, from the way he is, like his loud personality and stuff like that, you'd expect him to, like, hang with the cool kids. And she was like, Louie is so far from that. She went, in the house, she was like, I can imagine him going with, like, if there's a geek. And it was so weird. And honestly, God, when I come out of the house and I knew the concept, I rang my friend and I went, when you did that interview and you were saying Louie won't be the ones with like the stereotypes, it's like it'd be with the ones that are like the quiet ones. But I was like, there's not going to be quiet ones. It's a reality TV show. I was expecting to walk into this house and be like 10 really big characters. And then I seen Josh and I was like, oh God. And then when I was watching it, it's so blatant because you'd be like, how did you not pick up that Josh was so different? Because he was so quite obvious. Like, the edit made him look like he stood out like a sore thumb. Yeah. But in actual fact, Dre didn't speak much on Night What. Like, there was people in there where there was, like, say 2 or 3 big characters. So like Jack. So he did actually kind of blend in. It wasn't like, oh my God, Josh is so different. And I was just more intrigued of like, he's been casted for a reason. He's obviously got something. It's more than the wrestling. It's more than the thing. But the whole concept of the show, it just was not that. But me and Josh did just actually get on like as real, genuine friends. When he got voted out on night 1, obviously he didn't get voted out, but he got like up for elimination. Yeah. We got put into the bedroom night where they put them chats where like used to go in there, blah, blah, blah. He was like, will you go and help Josh pack? And I'm so into like manifestation, mindset, all stuff like that. And I literally got Josh in the mirror and I was like, Josh, we're going to manifest. And he was like, what's that? And I was like, you just stand in the mirror and let me do the talk. And I was like, repeat after me. And we was both stood in the mirror and I was like, look in the mirror and say, you're not going home. And he was looking at me as if like, are you normal? I was like, just repeat after me and trust me. I am God, no only joking. He was like, I'm not going home. And then he was like, I don't mind if I go home. And I was like, Josh, that is not the mindset you have to have. Like, you have to just say you're not going home and you won't go home. And
I wish they'd have shown that. That would have been hilarious.
I was so fuming when they didn't show this because he literally, you know, like he wore glasses. You know, like when you get that little, not the tissue, like the cloth in your glasses, it gave me that to remember him by. And I was crying laughing because I'm not a soppy person. Like, I'm really soft, but I actually come across like quite cold. So I was like, Josh, I don't want your glasses thing.
Bless him.
I was like, what am I meant to do with that? And he was like, I just want to give it you like to remember you by. And I was like, Josh, you're not going to go anywhere. And he genuinely thought he was going. I thought he was going home as well. Like as much as I was manifesting and stuff like that, I thought we're on a reality show. He's been so shy on night 1. Josh, you probably are going to go home.
So what you said there about you've always favoured the underdog, and
always.
Where do you think that comes from? Why have you always done that?
I don't know, but you know, like even in school, I always seem to like, I was one of the popular kids in school, and I thought I was like cock of the school. I was like this cheeky, like just so cheeky in school. The teachers hated me, but I was that kid where the teachers hated me, but they loved me as well.
Okay.
You know, one of them where they're like, you little shit, like you little shit, but I love you.
Yeah.
So like I'd always like get out of class, I'd wag lessons, go and sit in the office. Even in primary school, I'd eat my dinner with like the teachers because I was like a teacher's pet, but like a cheeky one. So I was head boy, and I was only head boy because they wanted me to like, I got on with the cool kids. I could speak to like the geeky kids, and then I kind of just fit in anywhere. Me, like I'm a bit like I was gonna say a lizard, but it's not a lizard. Chameleon. I can just fit into my surroundings wherever I am. I can get on with anyone. I can find like a common ground with anybody I'm with, anybody I'm speaking to.
Do you think that's a learned skill? Was there like has there been a time in your life where you felt you needed to do that, and that's something you had to adapt to and learn that skill quickly? Because not everybody can do that, right?
Yeah. So what it is, it's like my mum's very much the same. So my mum is not judgmental. She's like
she'll always be quite open-minded.
Yeah, like my mum is just so like, she's just like me, and I feel like all my behaviours I learnt from my mum.
Nice.
I've grew up with like not really had a good relationship with my dad.
Okay.
All that kind of stuff. So it's just been me and my mum. So I've learnt everything from my mum.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, completely. Because she's the person that was there for you, that you looked up to. And I think that's such a positive quality to have about you. And I think that absolutely shone through on that show, that's who you were. And that's exactly what I got from you, is that you do have that big personality and all the rest of it, but there's so much more to you. You remind me a little bit, we were just talking before we started recording, of Brody, who was on my show.
Yeah.
That there's one side of you that is loud and good energy and all the rest of it, but then there's so much more to you than just that. And I think people sometimes miss that with the bigger characters. You know, they just see the surface level. Oh, they must be full of themselves or whatever. I just don't get that from you at all. But what I do get is that you're really positive with your outlook and really confident. Has that always been the case with you? Like, because a lot, and the reason I'm asking, I guess, is a lot of people will listen to this show because they struggle with self-confidence. They struggle putting themselves out there. You know, you said you was the popular kid at school. Like, where do you think that comes from? And if someone's listening that struggles, have you any advice? Like, what's your mindset, I guess?
So I feel like I have always been really positive and stuff like that. But I literally used to be huge, like really overweight. Like, I've changed so much, obviously, like looking back at old pictures and stuff like that. So there was always that time. So there's been times where I've been like really insecure, or even now I feel like I genuinely don't think everyone's 100% happy all the time. So like, I am this really big, loud character. Everyone has down days. Everyone has like bad days and all stuff like that. We're all humans. Like, there is times where you do get insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you still feel that now?
Yeah.
What's the main thing for you? Like, what do you feel insecure about?
It's not so much like an insecurity, but like, I'm not 100% with my appearance. I don't think anyone actually is. So it's like, I can come across like I'm this really big, loud character. I'm so full of myself. I'm really like cocksure, love myself. But actually, it couldn't be any further from the truth. I don't feel like I fake it or like I overcompensate.
Okay.
It's just like, I actually am a really big, loud character. But I feel like people think you can't be a big, loud character and be insecure at the same time. Yeah. Whereas, I am this character, but I can actually be really vulnerable and soft and like insecure as well.
So when you're struggling, how do you overcome that? Do you have times where you just have to be away from talking to people, or are you better leaning into chatting more? What's your way of dealing with it when you're maybe struggling a bit with your appearance or whatever it may be?
So I don't open up at all. Like, if my friend was sat here now, she'd be like, even the other day we were sat together and she was like, you are the most hardest person to read ever. She was like, that is probably why you're single. She was like, you've probably met the man of your dreams and told him to fuck off. And it's like, it's like, do you know what? I probably have, because I don't let anybody know how I'm feeling. It's like, even family and friends, you will never know what I'm feeling deep down.
Why is that?
Because I just can't verbalise how I feel. It must be an ego thing. I would never let anybody feel like you've hurt me or anything like that, because I don't want to come across as weak.
Is it weak?
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah.
So, like, being hurt?
I wouldn't say I've ever been hurt. The only hurt I've ever had is from like friends.
Okay.
And my way of like dealing with being hurt is I kind of just like retract, cut you off. You'll never hear from me again. And I kind of like go in myself, go quiet. That's when you know you've hurt me. Where as a big loud character, you expect me to be like all guns blazing, going in. Whereas actually, if you've hurt me, I'm just done. Like,
so it's
won't
more
get a
you
reaction
might
out
do
of me.
the guns blazing if you don't actually care that much.
Yeah.
It's more just like whatever. But if you actually care,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting. Do you think that is something to work on though? Because I would suggest like that's not dealing with the problem. That's just if you just block, delete, gone. It's like actually, could you have worked through something? Was there a miscommunication problem? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
You're going to think this is really funny now because I've just been saying like I'm not as cocksure and stuff, but anytime anyone's hurt me, I've never been the problem. And you're going to think that sounds delusional, but I've never done anything wrong to hurt anybody. It's always been they've done something to me.
Yeah.
So, and last year, this is going to sound really silly because I know it's like a bit of a taboo subject, but I found faith. So I started believing in God, started going to church and stuff like that. And I feel like since then, I've just cut so many people off and I've seen like a difference in people, as in like, you're not my true friend. And I feel like everything happens for a reason. So if that means cutting you off, and that's when I started attracting all things like Josh Must Win, the Fortune Hotel.
Really?
When I started cutting these people off, I was like, oh my God, I've done this. And now my life started to change.
Yeah.
Like I've started to be on a path that I want to be on.
It's really interesting because I think a lot of people that I speak to really struggle with that boundaries and they let people walk all over them and they struggle to cut people off because whether they're an empath or whatever it is, it's just like, oh, you know, I don't want to upset them. And I've struggled with that, actually. I sometimes probably let people get away with too much. But I think that's a really important thing that you've touched upon there, which is when you get clear on who you are, your values, what you stand for, and then people cross the line, actually, I mean, there's something said to be giving people chances to a degree, but actually going, no, actually, you're not good for me.
Yeah.
And just cutting them off and staying in your own lane, that's when the right people align with you, right? And good things start to happen. You touched upon there this idea of being single. I'm interested in that. Like you were saying earlier, you've never had a long-term relationship as such. Is it something you want deep down?
Yeah, it's so weird because it's like, but it's all my own fault. So it like.
So you are the problem with this one.
I am the
Taylor
problem.
Swift style. You are the problem.
I will take full responsibility for this one because, like, I say I'm single by choice, but it's like I do want to be with someone. Like about that point now, I'm 23. Obviously, I've never had a boyfriend. I've never had like a long-term relationship or anything like that. And it's like, why? When I think like people, it's like 16, they have long-term relationships. I've not had that anything with anybody. So like, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I'm having fun. I'm doing my thing, all that kind of stuff. But in terms of like seriousness or commitment, I've never felt that from anyone. And I was only sat with my friend the other day saying like, I've never been in love. Like I've been on so many dates and I'm walking out the first date laughing. Like it's like I can't take it serious because I'm like, I can't
take it serious.
I can't take anybody serious. Like I just get the ick so bad, and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing through it and I'm laughing and I'm thinking, I can't explain.
This is the guy who always looks for the underdog, but on a date it's like the slightest thing I've got.
No, because honestly, if you've seen my dating record, like I've dated people with loads of money, I've dated people with no money, and just the whole scale. I just look and I think, I can't see myself with you. I can't.
Let's delve into that then. Why? What is it? Because from a friendship standpoint, it sounds like you're very accepting and you will chat to anybody, right? Until they fuck you over and then they're gone. I get that. But from a dating, it feels like it's the polar opposite. Do you feel there's a level of expectations being too high or is it just you haven't met the right person? What do you think?
So my friend says it's expectations being too high. I definitely think I've got high expectations, but then it's like I would never bring them down. If that's what I see for myself and that's what I want, that's what I'll get.
Okay.
But
does it
not
exist
working
though?
yet?
But my question is, does it exist? Because sometimes we have unrealistic expectations, and that's not about what you can attract, but it's sometimes actually that's not normal to be that quote unquote perfect. Could that be part of it? I mean, maybe you need to break this down for me. What are you looking for? Let's get this out there now. They might be listening. What is it that are like the non-negotiables that you just haven't found in somebody yet?
Right. So number one, they have to believe in God. Obviously, like I've just said, I found my faith now. So I want someone who like has their faith, believes in God.
Yeah. And I guess there is, I think, less people religious than ever right now, right? So that is a stumbling block.
So that's cutting off like a huge proportion of people.
Yeah.
Then they've got to be money motivated. I'm not saying I want like a millionaire.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you've got to be working towards something. I don't just want someone who's like sat in the bedroom playing the PlayStation. eating cereal. You know, just something like that. I just don't want a proper bum. So it's like, no.
Have you actually been on a date with someone who plays the PlayStation eating cereal?
Yeah, because you know, I actually get drawn to someone who's like, I feel like I could change them or I could save them. Where I'm like,
I've had that.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the underdog thing, innit? You're always rooting for and seeing the best in
Yeah.
someone and hoping you can help them,
But
right?
they're the ones that fuck you over.
So they're worse than the ones with money?
No, the ones with money are just boring.
Oh, really?
Oh, my
Because all they've got
God.
is money, right? Everything's money, money, money.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, shut up.
Yeah.
I've had one guy I was on a date once and he was like telling me he's got this penthouse, telling me he's got this stuff. And he literally, when we was coming out the date, had me practically under the car. And he was like, look at the spec of the car. And I was like, taxi.
You don't strike me as a car fan. And you know the sort of person that's going to be there under a bonnet like, oh
Exactly.
yeah, some good work.
Exactly. I'd be robbing the dust caps. No, I'm only joking. But yeah, no. So I'm looking for like someone who wants to travel, someone who's found the faith, someone who's money motivated, goes to the gym, works out, all that, but then also who's like loving, family orientated. Yeah. What's a good time?
What would you say is the main values though? Because a lot of that stuff I get. But I think something when it comes to relationships is about a level of compromise, right? So what if, for example, somebody is money, like maybe ticks most of those boxes, they're money orientated, they're, you know, ambitious, hardworking, loyal, honest, caring, thoughtful, but they don't believe in God. Like, is it that, like, it has to be every single one or one of the others, vice versa? Like, can you compromise and work with some of that?
Yeah, 100%. And I know relationship's like a 50-50 thing. So yeah, I completely understand the compromise thing.
I understand, but I'm not willing to do it. That's what I'm getting.
The believing in God isn't a huge thing because, like, I've got friends that have not believed in God, and not that I've influenced them, but just by them seeing what's happening in my life and me saying it's literally through God, they've started like being like, oh my God, actually shit, I think he might be like, I think he might be real.
No,
like,
actually exists, that guy.
Yeah, looking up to the sky, it's like, so that can be worked. And I'm not saying like I want someone who's like absolutely Bible basher at the church every Sunday, because it's like I don't even do that. I've been to church about 4 times, so when I say I found my faith, I'm not saying I'm like on my hands and knees on a Sunday. I just mean like I just live my life like it's nice to be nice, be a good person, have a clean heart. Clean hearts always win. I just want someone like that. And in today's world, online dating, it's like online shopping. It's like you're literally just swiping along. It is so boring and monotonous. It's like all I get is like middle-aged, fat, hairy ginger men with like cats, and I'm like, do you know what? This is just not what I'm looking for. But where do you find the people now?
Well, what do you think? Like, because I think this is an important topic. Is because for me, so I was in long-term relationships from being about 17, with not very long in between, and
player.
I think, well, the opposite really, because my longest relationship was just short of 7 years. And then, so when I went into that relationship, like barely 20, 21, something like that. And then I came out of it like 27 or whatever. And obviously that's a big, like from your early 20s to nearly 30, you're quite a different, So coming out of that relationship and being nearly 30, single, and because I don't think they had dating apps when I got in that relationship. And then suddenly I'm like, oh shit, I'm meant to do this. But I felt like too old to be on dating apps and stuff like that. And I found the whole thing really superficial, dead overwhelming. And like you're saying, it's just swipe. So what do you feel like as somebody that's single, dating and using apps? And do you think you should be on the apps? Do you think there's a better way? Like, what's your thoughts?
So I am on the apps.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't meet anyone off them. Like
Ever?
I literally just, no, I do, like, but not like, because say I've been on the apps like 2 years, I've probably met about 5 people off them.
Yeah.
In 2 years. So it's like, it's not like a continuous thing.
And this is the fat guy with the cats, right?
No. But yeah, I feel like dating apps now, like it's 2024, where else do you meet people? I don't go out a lot. Obviously, I've got a business, so it's like my whole time. And that is probably whilst I'm single as well, because I invest so much time into work, earning money. I'm not out every weekend. I'm not out and about. I'm not putting myself out there to go and meet people on a weekend. I'm not at the bars. I'm not at the clubs.
Yeah.
So where do you meet people? Yeah. It's like dating apps is the only other alternative, and they're just awful. The people that are on there, and I'm like, am I basically one of them then? Because like I'm on there, I'm not finding what I'm looking for, but I'm like, there's got to be other people out there like me that are in the same situation where it's like that is the only place to find someone now. Because it's like, you don't hear of old term love. Like, so you know, like your nana and your like grandma and all stuff like that. Not your nana and your grandma.
Yeah. Maybe.
But like your grandparents, where they're like, oh my God, they've been together for like 50 years. They've been married for 30. And it's like, where is that going to happen now? Because that is just not this generation.
Do you think it just won't happen? Like, as in, it'll be very rare that people do have that long-term committed relationship now.
Yeah. There's not like one relationship I know now in like, even where I'm from or in my like social circle or anything like that, where I think that's the relationship I want. It's like the layup, the going out on a weekend. There's not much to it. I want to be like traveling, earning money together. That is what I think makes a relationship. What
do you think's the solution then? Because right now it is all swipe, it's Instagram, it's all this kind of instant validation. If you don't like this person or you get the ick from one small thing, just swipe, move on. How do you think as your generation and as a society, how do we, or is it a problem? Does it matter that people are having long-term relationships? What's your thoughts?
If I had a solution, I wouldn't be single.
Right.
No,
so we're fucked then. We just don't know. We don't know. We're all fucked.
Yeah. No, it is definitely a problem, but it's like, I don't think there is a solution.
Yeah.
We're not all going to change as a generation. It's just harder to find love. You've just got to keep looking.
I think part of it...
Sorry, I hate when people say that it's like, you'll find it when you're not looking, because I just don't believe in that. It's not going to come knocking at your door.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, it can happen like that. I do think it's happened for people. But I think anything in life, if you're not focused on it, if you're not intentional about it, you're making it harder to make it. It's like if you're not focused on making money, it's not just going to turn up when you're not looking. Like, you know? I think part of the solution, personally, is what we have to do is find the hobbies and the things we're interested in and get out and do stuff. Because I think, like you said, I resonate with like running my own business, like working a lot, and the only time you connect with people is online. And I actually think it's a lot harder to build those genuine connections. And again, when things are on DMs on Insta, whatever, it can just get very either boring very quickly if you're not actually meeting up, or just very sexual, and then it just is like one night stand vibes. And, so I do think it's about generation, societally, people starting to go, we need to get out, you know, face to face. This is where you get someone's genuine aura, energy, vibes. You can get the ick maybe, but at least you know. Do you know what I mean? I think that is part of it, is getting out again. And
I agree, because it's crazy, because like when you think about it, when was the last time you have like a genuine conversation with someone where, you know, where like, how are you, what do you do for work, like house, family, all that kind of stuff. The whole interaction between humans has just been took away by social media. It's like you've got thousands of followers on Instagram or something like that, you know, you could know about 100 of them to stop and chat in the street, if that. It's like all the rest of them are just people, they think they know you and they actually don't know you. It's the same with online dating.
I
like
agree.
You put this persona out there, like everyone on Hinge is like typical Sunday roast, hike, and then you get with them and it's like they've never done a hike in their life. Like they're out every night on a Saturday night and then they're dying all Sunday. Like, what happened to the hike? What happened to the Sunday roast? What happens like playing chess with your family? Like, they just paint this like persona of like, oh my God, I'm this person. And then you go on the dates, and that's what I'm saying about, I laugh at them, because I'm like, that is not you. You've lied. Hence why I don't have a bio or anything like that, because I'm just like, you just have to wait and see.
Maybe that's part of it as well, is like, because you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that's always been a thing, is people paint their best picture early on, and it's only after a while you get to know someone's true colours. But I agree, like with the apps, people will edit their pictures, choose their best pictures, right? You all right? Guilty of that one then, yeah? Let's talk business, because obviously you run your own business. Do you want to just tell people a little bit about that? Because one of the things you said you're looking for in a partner is someone who's ambitious and money oriented. Has that always been you?
Yeah, always. And like, again, I don't know where that's come from really. Like, my mum's always been a hard worker. I've always been kind of taught to be like, work hard, earn money, do well for yourself, be independent. And as well, like I said, obviously I was growing up, obviously my dad wasn't really around. And it's so weird, because being gay and saying that you was like the man of the house, it sounds so stupid, but really I was the man of the house. It's, even though it sounds daft, because it was obviously all women, like girls and women and stuff. But me and my mum was just always like, and my mum always taught me like, be independent. And this is going to sound really silly as well, but I feel like every gay guy is money motivated, ambitious. Like, you very rarely find a bum gay guy.
Why?
Like you all like, don't you think like in films, in real life, it's always like the gay rich uncle, and it's because gay people, I feel like we're all trying to prove a point that you can be gay, but you can be successful as well.
And is that how you've always felt?
Yeah.
So
not so much that I'm proving a point. I have just always, and I'd like to say this is why I think I found my faith, I have always felt different. I've always felt special, as in like, I've just never fitted in anywhere. Probably why I was so close to Josh, because he didn't fit in that surroundings.
Yeah.
I have honestly always felt wherever I've been, whether it be in school, in college, in uni, that I've never felt like I fit in. But I've never wanted to fit in. I've never changed myself to try and fit in.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I feel so special and so different, because I'm like, I've been put in so many scenarios where like in uni I probably could have just like blended in and like got with all the other kids, went and sat in the library, and I literally just used to go in the library on my own because I just never fit in with like anybody.
But you never wanted to?
No.
I think there's
something... Or I
something...
probably did want to, but I never wanted it enough to be like, I want to change who I am to do it.
Got it. And that's kind of the opposite of what most people do, because so many people are scared to just completely be their authentic self. They fear judgment, what people are going to say. How, I mean, is it, you touched upon the thing of like being a gay guy. Do you think that's played a big part in that? Because I'm interested in how somebody can be so confident and comfortable in going, I don't need to fit in and I won't change for anybody. Because I do think that's quite unique. I don't think a lot of people feel like that. Where do you feel that comes from for you?
I don't think it comes from anywhere. I just think that comes from like me just being me. That's why I mean, I know I'm special. I know I'm different, because I just don't know anybody else who would do that. As in, like, I've been in social situations where I've seen people like not stand up for people in certain situations where I would feel the need to stand up for people. Or I've just been in situations where I think, wow, there's nobody like me. I've had friends that have done stuff to me where I think I would never do that to you. So it's like, I just know I'm so different to everybody else in terms of like morals, standing up for when I need to like stand up for someone, all stuff like that. And this is why I think I'm single as well, because I feel like I'm waiting to meet me in another person. Yeah. I want someone who will stand up in social situations when they need to, who have got a voice, who are just different, and just, I'm so big on energy. If I like you, I'm like, I can know if you're a good person before you even open your mouth, if that makes sense.
From
and
energy.
They're the people I choose to spend my time with. I can read people so well. I know if you're a good person or a bad person straight away.
It's quite a good skill to have.
Yeah. And it's amazing for making money. Because it's like, you know how to network, you know how to make connections. My clientele, I only attract my clientele. If I was to put all my clients in a room, they would all have very similar characteristics to me.
What are those characteristics then?
Crazy, I know, I'm only joking.
We're all mad.
Yeah, they're all a bit wacky, but like loud, outspoken, bubbly, just nice, honest people.
Yeah.
Every single one of my clients, honestly, I literally see him as a friend. I see him as like, because like, you think they're spending their hard-earned money on their treatments. It's like, let's be honest, facials, yeah, they're amazing for your skin, all that kind of stuff. I'm obviously going to big the brand up and stuff. But when you think about it in the grand scheme of life, people can't afford the rent. People, like, especially in today's like climate, people are literally struggling to get by, and people still come and spend a big chunk of their income on coming to get a facial with me. And I'm like, that just means everything to me. So every client that walks through my doors is literally like, they're my friend, and they are my friend. I don't see them as a client. Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. There's a quote I heard years ago, which is, not all money is good money. Yeah. And what that was referring to is like in a business sense of not just trying to get anybody to be a client because it's like money. It's no, take your time, get the right clientele, build the right culture in your company, and then that's how you're going to build something really substantial that will last long term. And I think that's what I'm hearing like you say ultimately. Yeah. I mean, with business, how have you found business? Because a lot of people start a business, but they don't stick with it. Yeah. A lot of people find it hard. They find it hard to keep clients. What's that journey been like with you in business?
Oh, Matt, you'll know business is so hard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's so glamorized, and on Instagram, it's like, oh my God, smashing it. And I am doing really, really well. Like, I'm not going to kind of like blend in. I am absolutely like doing really well with like my clients and all stuff like that, but nobody sees the hard work, the sleepless nights, and it's so cringy to say out loud, because I always see these like podcasts and motivational things,
and now here we are
where it's like,
we'll cut this up, it'll be on TikTok, you'll be one of them motivational speakers,
like where they put like the iceberg thing, and it's like you see the success and you see the underneath things, and it's so cringy, because I like, honestly, if you go on all these like mindset motivation Instagram pages, it'll be Louie Oneill _, double tapping them all, and it's so cringy. But when you own a business, you honestly, them quotes, you feel them, because these days where I think, oh, do I want to do this? Like, do I really want to carry on? I've done it 5 years now. I've kind of reached the top I can get to. Like, obviously, I train people how to become trainers. So it's like, now, have you ever heard of the glass ceiling effect, where it's like, I've hit the ceiling now, so how do you break through now? I'm literally at the top of the game in skincare, so there's not much more. Obviously, I've got my skincare line dropping next month, but it's like, after that, what do I do? I'm only 23.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's kind of getting to that stage now where it's like, I can't really go much higher.
How I would look at that is go, right, how can I now start to evolve the company so that I don't have to be as hands-on, so that I've built this culture so that I can have team members do it, and then I can branch out sideways. But the thing is, like, you've obviously done amazing, but you are still so young. Like, I still consider myself fairly young. Like, and you will always learn and evolve and adapt. And I think one thing that we're kind of touching on here is you don't need to have the next 10 years figured out. It's like, all right, we might be at the glass ceiling now. I might not know the next steps right now, but that's okay. And the reason I want to highlight that is because a lot of people are like, well, if I don't have certainty of what the next 10 steps are, people just quit, or they just, find it easier to get a job or whatever. Yeah. And I think it's all right to go, do you know what? I've done really well. I don't know what's next, but I'm just going to remain open and just evolve as it goes, right?
Yeah, so I like to say that I'm like, live every day like it's my last, kind of don't have this big plan, like 10-year plans and all stuff like that. But then I am so hard on myself, as in like, there's days where I can do a 12-hour shift, come home and feel like, God, I'm not doing enough. Like I'm chasing something. But then in a way, it's a good thing, because I feel like I wouldn't have done half the stuff I'd have done if I wouldn't have been so hard on myself. So there's like times where like, I've chose to go to the gym instead of a night out. It sounds so minuscule in the grand scheme of things, but actually it's those like repetitive decisions that make the difference.
Completely.
Yeah.
It's there's a book I read. Is it called The Slight Edge? Really good book. I mean, it just makes one point on repeat loads of times, but it makes a good point. And it says, easy to do, easy not to do. They're the big things that compound over time. Like you're saying there, it's easy to kind of it's easy to just go to the gym, but it's easy not to go to the gym. And when you just pick those little things each day, like, it's easy to just eat some vegetables, but it's easy not to eat the vegetables and eat the chocolate. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's those seemingly insignificant small things compounded over time that do add up to those massive results where people go, oh, you're an overnight success or whatever. No, it was all those little decisions. 100%. And that applies to any area of life, whether it be fitness, business, finances, relationships. Same with relationships. When you start taking someone for granted, and there's just those little things where you don't acknowledge them that day when they come home from work, whatever. It's easy to acknowledge someone. It's easy not to. And I think that's what I'm hearing you say is it's just those little things that add up over time. I don't know where I was going in that, but I just thought it was a good bit for the motivational TikTok that we're doing. Slight edge. Go get it.
Swipe up now.
So let's go back to the TV stuff, because obviously as we speak, the Fortune Hotel is out right now. Yeah. As you reflect on, and I mean, spoiler alert.
Sore topic.
It wasn't a big, long experience, that one, was it? No, how did you find it? How did you find the Fortune Hotel the time you was in there? Should people watch as well? What do you feel as a show? How do you feel about it?
Oh my God, yeah, I would literally urge anybody to watch, because as a viewer, 100% I would say go and watch it. As a contestant, don't watch it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm only joking. So obviously coming off Josh Must Win, you need to remember that was like, the cameras was all just set up. So it was, it's called like a fly on the wall production, which means like the cameras are just set up. You don't really have to do much. Yeah. There's not like a camera crew, or you are just literally, you just being you. Like there was days where I was just like in my shorts, on the couch, chatting shit, a bit like this. No, I'm joking. And you are just being you. So like, whereas on the Fortune Hotel, obviously I was expecting for it to be like Josh Must Win, like really chilled. I am telling you now, when we landed on that island, it was like, I felt like I was James Bond. The camera crew was in your face non-stop. And the woman who was doing like I don't know if she was like director or what she was, it was like being on SAS. The way that it was all so structured. It was like, you stand here, you do this. Every walk was filmed about 5 times. And I was going to Chloe, I don't like this. There was so many times where I was like, let's just go home. And she was like, don't eat. Oh, honestly.
Be careful what you wish for. And 10 minutes later, we went.
No, because, and then obviously, you know, on holiday, you're not meant to drink the water and the ice and all stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I had the ice. Everybody had the ice in the hotel, and it was the first day of the challenge. But we'd been there like 4 days already, so we had 5 days in like this holding hotel. So we'd been there for 5 days. Then we was in the actual main hotel for 3 days, and then it was a challenge. And the challenge was to run around Grenada. I'm telling you now. So we just got up this castle.
So he's got a fear of burps.
No.
However.
So it was all fine. We was
Yeah.
at the top of this castle. You could literally see the whole of Grenada. Views was amazing.
Yeah.
Life was good. Like I was
Sun
like,
is
we've
shining.
made it.
Yeah.
And then I'm not joking. I just thought, shit, I'm not well. And I was like, Chloe, I don't feel well. She went, oh, what do you mean? Like, don't be dash. She's like, probably got sunstroke. And I'm like, sunstroke? He's joking.
Yeah.
Lacquered in SPF. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Then I started sweating, but like not a normal sweat. And I started looking around, and it was, I can't even describe how it was, but it's like we was all looking at each other. There was like, right, when the klaxon goes, the challenge starts. And there was like 3, 2, 1, and it got to 1, and I was like, wait. And everyone was like, what? And I went, I need the toilet. And they was all like, what? And I knew I've never felt a pain like it. I was like, oh my God, I'm either going to be sick or, you know what?
Shit yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Or
I got,
both.
No, when I got to the toilet, all the crew was there. It was like everyone had just come down with this thing. It was obviously we'd
Oh
all
my
got
God.
fingered from the ice.
Yeah.
That challenge was the worst day of my life. I remember running around the island. I had to stop in a bank to be sick. I had to go to KFC to do whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, this is a 45-minute challenge. It's timed. What am I going to do? There's 250 grand on the line. Like, Louie, stop being dramatic. You're going to be fine. And then the medic was like, Louie, if you are seriously this bad, you will get pulled out on medical grounds. Obviously, they have reserves at the other hotel. And I was like, no, I'm fine.
I'm not doing it. I'm here to win.
Yeah. And then apparently we come last. Inverted commas. Yeah.
Okay. Make of that what you will.
Yeah. Save that for another day.
Yeah.
And then we literally got back to the thing, and everybody else was ill, and I was like, oh my God. But obviously the whole point of that game is to have like poker face. If you come 10th, you don't want people to think that you're shitting it because it means you've got the early checkout.
Yeah,
But we
yeah.
didn't have the early checkout.
Yeah.
But because I was so poorly, I'd ran back in 10th. My face was like a slap tire. So I was like, I'm not well. And everyone was like, they've got the early checkout. Everyone was like, Louis
That's
being so
hilarious.
weird.
No one would have known this either. Like, because
No.
obviously it didn't feature the fact you was
No.
ill on the edit, did it?
Well, no, because the camera woman, when I was like, oh my God, I was like, I am so poorly. She was like, can you just say that to the camera? And I was like, are you joking? Do you think I want to say that to the camera? Like, oh my God, I've got diarrhea. I'm obviously just not going to say that, am I?
You have
yeah.
done. Just now. Definitely
Well, yeah,
said it now.
spilling the tea now. But yeah.
What about the overall? Because obviously that was a short-lived show. Josh must win. How long was you filming that?
I think it was just over 2 weeks.
So just over 2 weeks, and you're literally filming all day, every day.
Yeah. But you don't feel like you're filming because we would literally was just
Yeah.
living in the house. Like we had no interaction with like nobody coming. There was no producers or you don't ever see anyone. It was literally just us being us.
Because it's like Big Brother style, innit?
Yeah.
There's the cameras there.
Yeah.
So that experience, obviously you're completely away from your home environment, your friends, your family. Presumably you've not got access to social media or anything like that.
Don't know
while
what
you're filming.
time it is.
So you're just there. You didn't even know the time.
No.
Wow. So you're just there with these strangers. But obviously in that environment, as I know, you can build relationships very quickly and
Yeah.
like get really close. So on reflection, like what was that experience like going through that, and the friendships you made in that? Were they just while you were doing TV, or has they remained like afterwards, like a genuine bond after what you went through?
So going into the house, I remember because in my VT, I was like, oh my God, I want to come across like such a bitch. But obviously, you know what it's like when you're on TV. You kind of want to say these like corny like things that you say. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here for
Yeah.
the money. I'm going to win. And then I got in there and I was like, so soppy. I was everyone's best friend.
You actually were,
I
weren't
was
you?
like, yeah. I was like, you're my
You
best
stood up
friend.
for
You're my
yourself.
best friend.
Who was it you fell out with someone early on though? I can't remember now.
Miles.
I remember you sat at the table. And was it you that just walked off? You're like, I'm not even talking to you.
Yeah, and I'm not like that. Like, I'm not confrontational either, but I won't let someone take the piss out of me, and I won't let someone take the piss out of someone else either. But with Miles, he is actually a really nice person. Like, we do, well,
Okay.
I say we speak all the time now, that's a lie. But like, after, when the show was there and we
Yeah.
were speaking a lot, and he's actually a nice person. He just went into that show with all the wrong intentions. Like, I was there to win the money. He was there to win the money. Obviously, the stakes are high. And obviously, we was clueless about the Josh thing. So
Yeah.
Josh in the whole thing of it was actually like not a big deal. It was
yeah.
more me and him going head to head, as in like me and you, who's getting the money, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
It wasn't
okay.
actually to do with Josh.
Okay.
It was more like you're my competition and I'm your competition.
Yeah.
Because in my head, it's like the girls all love Miles, but the girls also loved me.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like, who's getting the votes here? So it was between me and him. And I remember on the first day, he literally coming in, he was saying to everyone like, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. You don't vote for me and I won't vote for you. And I was like, oh, he's like playing the game. So I was like, shit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's my first competitor. So it's like, I've got to take you out. And then he also had to take me out. But then as well, it kind of just come to that because he was obviously singling out Josh, and I would not have that anyway. It like, if anybody in the house did that, it wasn't just because it was Miles. If anybody in the house would have said the things that he said to
You'd
Josh,
call it out.
I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't nice to Josh at all.
And then when obviously you got to the final, and was it third place you finished?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing, considering like you couldn't have won. So the best you could have done was second,
Yeah.
right? When you then had the
I
concept...
should have come second, by the way. When I walked in
Well,
the
what
show, I was
happened?
thinking, me and Josh was the best friends in there.
Yeah. I thought you was going to be second.
And he voted Jeanette as favourite in the final.
Oh, did he? I
So
can't
Josh,
remember.
screw you.
Yeah, screw you. It's all over now.
But yeah.
How did you actually feel when you had the realisation? Obviously, there's like Nick Grimshaw and the others. Like, you actually realised what the concept was. How did you actually feel about that?
So TikTok and Twitter was like, oh my God, Louie looks fuming. And I was fuming. Like,
And it's true.
and do you know what? You was right. I was fuming. Because what it was for me, when I'd got out, obviously we'd met the celebs and stuff like that, and I was sat there. Then they flicked this screen like, Josh must win. Straight away I was thinking, right, well, that's not the show that I thought it was on. So you are going to have your backup. It's like 1 minute.
When you filmed all that time.
Yeah. As in like, oh my God, so that is just so weird. And then you start feeling like, oh my God, has my experience been like, not diluted, but I feel like Josh actually won on his own merit because none of us knew the concept anyway.
Yeah.
So was that part of the show where it's like, that wasn't needed?
Yeah.
Josh would have won the favourite.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they didn't actually control that much. Like, sticking the tongue up in the game and getting him to do his wrestling is not what made Josh win. Josh won because the alliances that was formed, the gameplay that was going on. Like, me, Josh and Jeanette had a pact from the start that us three was going to be in the final.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
that's mad.
yeah, so it's like...
But interesting, though, because I've seen people criticised it for that thing of, actually, if you was Josh, how would you feel to know it was all fabricated and it was all you were... You know, everybody was working towards helping you win. But what you're saying is it wasn't like that, really. Like, obviously, they did the bits, but overall, he won on his own merits.
If that show was still called The Favourite, the exact same outcome would have happened.
Really?
Well, it did, because obviously we didn't know it was called Josh Must Win. So it's like, how it panned out was...
But you've obviously got the celebs that did have an influence, right? They were manipulating stuff. And as you know, he was meant to leave, I think, the first night. Or he could have left the first night.
Oh, shit, yeah. Shit, yeah. So
it was all manipulated. But you know what I mean? Like, they played their part.
Yeah, but they only saved him once, and he didn't go up for elimination any other night.
Very quickly, he won everybody over, didn't he? Bit by bit, which is what was so fascinating, I think, as a viewer. Because it was a social experiment, really. Yeah,
it was. But I know what you mean about if I was Josh and I was in that show and I'd come out and it was like, we've tried to make you win, I'd be fuming.
Yeah,
because then I'd just feel like you just took away my win.
Yeah.
Like I'd want to.
Did he feel like that?
No.
Like when you spoke to him, how did he feel?
No, he didn't feel like that. I don't think he felt like anything. Like when I kept
just
saying
so
to him,
chill,
like,
wasn't he?
Josh, do you understand the concept? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, how do you feel? And there's just nothing. He's like, yeah, I've got a show on E4 named after me. And I'm like, yeah, like there's just not much. He kind of just went along with it. Whereas if that was me, I'd be like, are you taking the piss? I'd be fuming.
I think so many people would be like you with it.
Yeah. And when I was reading Twitter, I was like, oh my God, it does kind of make sense because... But then you'd only know if he was in there that Josh did actually win on his own merits, and like the votes was like there was nothing rigged. We never got told to say one thing, and that's what I love about the E4 show. Yeah. It was so organic, like the way it was made, the way we was in there. It was just so different. Like and
the relationships were genuine, right?
Yeah.
You genuinely won people over.
Yeah,
which I think is the nice thing about the show.
Yeah,
this has been great, Louie. As we sort of wrap up, I've got a few general life questions that I like to ask all our guests. So we're going to dive into that now. So the first question is, what is some of the best life advice you've been given and why?
Do you know what? There's so many because I have literally read every self-help book that you can think of. Like, you name it, I've read it.
Really?
Really, like...
The Slight Edge?
Well, no.
I named it, you've not read it.
Not that
Have
one.
you always been into like the self-development stuff?
So I met a friend, Chloe, who I went on the Fortune Hotel with,
Yep.
and she's the one that looks like brought me closer to God. She got me into reading, she got me into manifesting, because I'm not joking. It's like, I have a friend that does that to me now. It's like kind of passed on, it's like a domino. So she brought me closer to all that, and it's like I was seeing in her life everything she said she was going to do and everything she said that she could do, it just started happening. And for ages, I used to think she was crazy. I used to think she was mad. Because everybody does. Like, everyone's like, oh, Chloe's not, she's crazy. Because she started believing in God and she started, like, just being so vocal about it, being like, I can actually achieve anything. I will get this. If I want it, I'll get it. And I used to think, oh, she's not normal. I used to come home and I used to like, oh, Mum, she's honestly crazy. And then there was times where she'd like, I'm going to have that car. And weeks later, she'd have the car. Then we drove past this big, huge pub. And she was like, that's going to be my training academy, my shop. And 2 weeks later, she sent me a picture of the keys and she was renovating it. And I was like,
wow.
Whatever she's doing is
working.
He's working.
Yeah.
And I want in. So I was like, whatever you're doing, teach me. And she was like, come to church, man. And I was like, right. I was like, I don't want to go to church. Because I just imagine church to be like, sitting there reading, and it's not. When you go, it's literally like being part of this big community. It's like gospel choirs. It's like going to a concert.
Yeah.
You walk in and there's a feeling in the room. You just feel accepted. You feel like, and everyone's so different. There's old people, young people, fat people, thin people, black, white, green, yellow. Like, there's everyone in there. It's just like,
who's the green people? You got aliens.
Must just be the lights from the stage. But
nice.
yeah, and it's just not like, it's like a big community, and it's like you just feel, there's a feeling when, that is the only way I can describe it. If you've ever been to a concert and the music's that loud, you feel it in your heart.
100%.
When you go to church, that feeling is like you feel something inside, and it's like, shit, this has to be real. And I feel like everybody will, at a time, have that feeling. It's like how I describe it is, the thing with God, it sounds stupid, but you only turn to God when you need him. It's like people hate the police until they need to call them. That's the only way I can describe the God thing.
I think it's a similar thing with, you said there, that's led on to like self-development and reading those self-help books. It is that thing of when you get to a point of like, you know, like, because that's where I was at. I was a bit lost in life. You know, what is success? What is happiness? It's a lot of the premise of why I did this show. Is you get to a place where you don't have the answers, and that's when you start looking within and, you know, finding those kind of things. So is there anything that stands out, like maybe what you've read in any of that, that's a really good piece of advice to give people today that's like, this is something to always remember or always live by?
Just to work on yourself and literally just be unapologetically you. Like, that is what's worked for me. As in, I don't have much life experience. Obviously, I'm 23. I've not been through huge things where I've like, oh my God, I can give you this solid piece of information. All I can say is just be you. Like, we're in 2024 now. Nobody actually cares. Like, so I think people think in their head that people care so much about life more than they actually do.
Agreed.
I don't care what you're doing in the next 10 minutes after this podcast. It's like, it sounds stupid, but no,
cheers
you
for
don't.
that.
No,
I was really caring about you.
No, it's so true. It's like, you don't care what I'm doing next week on a Wednesday. It's like, nobody actually cares what you're doing in your life. So just be you, do what you're doing, what makes you happy. Just, if it makes you happy, just do it.
Yeah.
That is the only piece of advice.
Great advice. I love that. What about the flip side, which is what's some of the terrible advice, things that maybe people say that you're just like, that's nonsense, I don't agree with that?
Don't ever take advice from someone who's not doing something that you want to do.
Nice. Yeah.
So like, so many people take advice, like, and they try and live through somebody else's dream. So it's like, if your mum don't think you should be doing that, or your dad don't think you should be doing that, and that's your dream, and they're not living the life you want to live, why are you taking their advice?
Yeah. Such a good point. And we do, don't we? Because if it's someone we respect or we care about, we're like, oh, they know best, or they care about me, but it's like, but it's not their dream. Yeah. It's not their goal. It's not their life. And
you've been given that dream for a reason. I honestly believe in that, because it's like, obviously me being a guy doing skincare, when I went home and I was like, I want to open this skincare thing, Mum was like, who's going to go to a guy for a facial? And I was like, well, I don't know, but I've had the idea, and it's like, I'm going to make it work. And now it's like, people cannot, especially from where I'm from, people cannot believe that men get facials. And it's like, my page now is literally just men. My clientele has gone from being all these women, and now it's like straight heterosexual men that do just want to look after themselves. It's nothing to do with like being feminine or getting treatments. It is just everyone's getting facials.
I'm actually intrigued. This is a thing for straight heterosexual men. Like, what
you
is a
joking?
facial? I don't even know what a facial is. Do you know what a facial is, Jimmy?
Like skincare.
Yeah, like just
Like
look,
cream on and that.
having a facial is not just about your skin; it's a feeling. It's the exact same thing again. It's
Like an
like
experience.
it's like when you get your hair cut and you feel
Yeah.
you walk out
You
the
feel
barbers
fresh.
and you think I am the shit.
Yeah.
When you have a facial,
Oh, it's not just me that thinks that. Then. We all do that. Then. Nice fresh trim.
Yeah.
We feel good.
and then you have a facial and you walk out and you think, oh my god, I feel brand new.
What is it then? Just cream? Like you put creams on your
Well, it
face?
depends what you're having. It depends what your concern is. Obviously, I do a consultation, decide what's best, and then obviously you just lie there. I go to work, and yeah, you walk out looking amazing.
Right.
It's as simple as that,
Jimmy,
really.
we might have to try it.
Yeah,
Bit of a massage.
yeah, lymphatic drainage, you name it. Yeah, it's all involved. Extractions, blackheads out. Yeah, the works.
Well, I'm open-minded, so
Yeah,
we might-
let's do
we might
it.
have to get on down. We'll
Yeah.
get down.
Let's do it.
Louis, this has been brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, and I
No,
feel
thanks
like
for having me.
your level of vulnerability and honesty about everything that you've done and the TV and everything. Hopefully, it just gives people that realistic insight that we all need in a world that's full of nonsense,
Yeah.
really, and people just showing the best sides and being fake and everything.
Yeah.
If people don't already follow you, where is the best place that they can follow you online and get your content and that kind of stuff?
So my Instagram is Louie Oneill_. And then I don't actually use anything else, really, like Twitter, Facebook. Obviously, I don't use Facebook. I don't use Twitter.
For old people, innit? That's
yeah,
why.
Facebook's like so 2000s. So probably just Instagram. My TikTok, I think, is Louie Oneill_ as well.
Yeah.
Louie Oneill.
Louie Oneill.
It's one of the ones. Just type it and you'll find it.
Find you on there. Cool. And the final question that I ask all guests to finish the podcast is, what is your definition of success?
Oh, you threw a spanner in the works right at the end. No, I'm joking.
You listen to the show, right? Obviously. You knew this was coming.
My definition of success. My definition of success is it's not the money, it's not the big house, it's not the big car. Everything you think success is, it's the complete opposite. It's just being happy, being you, and just living every day how you want to live it. So yeah, stop chasing the money, stop chasing the car, and stop chasing all that stuff, and just work on yourself, work on your soul, and just be happy.
Beautiful.
That was amazing, that wasn't it?
That's
I'm proud of that
actually really
one.
good. To say that you was caught off guard, you smashed it.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey next.
Yeah. Oprah. He's ready.
Yeah, is it Oprah?
He's ready. Oh, no, it's Oprah.
It's one of
Oprah
them.
is ready. Cheers, man. Thank you for that.
Thanks for having me.